Introduction, as he mentioned, my name is Brad. There is a tradition in England, or rather there was, of telling ghost stories on Christmas Eve. No idea actually to what extent, if any, this has survived. Obviously, however, at least one Christmas ghost story, other than that of the holy, has rather triumphed over all the others. In America, reading Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol on Christmas Eve quickly became as much a part of our tradition as reading the story of the Nativity. FDR read Dickens' little novel to his family every Christmas Eve, as did many another American, famous and common folk alike. This is to say nothing here of the stage and film and television adaptations that have, in their turn, become as much a part of Christmas as actual carols, family misunderstandings, and credit card debt. Ah, the holidays. A more modest tradition can be claimed for Truman Capote's A Christmas Memory. Originally published in 1956 and never out of print since, in one form or another, Capote's story can now quite fairly be claimed as a classic, if by no estimation the equal of Dickens or the Gospel, as a literary tradition perhaps inferior in popularity to just these two. Since at least its republication in book form in 1966, Capote's A Christmas Memory returns every year. This year, in fact, marks my fifth to read it here at the University Bookstore. While Capote's is not strictly a ghost story, I would argue that it is, nonetheless, much like the Dickens, a visitation, a willed and secretly wished-for return by the narrator to what was best in Christmas as we choose to remember it, in the case of Capote, to the scene of his last perfect happiness in childhood, if such a thing has ever actually existed for any of us. Truman Capote was already nearing the peak of his success when he wrote this story. He wasn't there yet. That would come after Breakfast at Tiffany's and his masterpiece, In Cold Blood, perhaps the evening of his still-remembered black and white ball. When Capote wrote A Christmas Memory, he said later, he was alone, in a hotel room on the other side of the world from Monroe, Alabama, where Truman spent a good part of his early childhood and where tonight's story is set. This story he wrote not simply to remember and to be less lonely come Christmas, but as a conjuration, to defeat time and space, adult realities and obligations, and to return to the person who had loved him best in childhood, and the place where, in her, he made his first true friend. I love Christmas, and all of its attendant traditions and trimmings. I love the lights, and the music, and the paper, and the presents, and the food. I love the making of Christmas, and the selling of it, and the buying, and the celebration. This, then, is my favorite time of year. December, however, has also, for me, come to be more than a little melancholy, as the years have rolled on. I am far from family, and the most familiar traditions of my own childhood. Like everyone my age or older, I have had other losses as well. Some I can no longer separate from December 1st. And a birthday coming soon, not my own, but of a friend, no longer here to mark it. My friend, like Truman's, lived for Christmas, loved it and kept it with more enthusiasm than any other full-grown person I have ever known or am likely to ever know. Born this month, in a large family, it was surprising that he should nevertheless love Christmas, however it inevitably dimmed the celebration of his own birthday. Didn't matter. Christmas then, to me, will in large part for the rest of my life be as much his as it is mine. I mark it always, decorating our tree, wrapping gifts, singing carols, thinking of him. And so, I read Capote's story tonight in a way as he wrote it, and offer, without further explanation, only this dedication: to absent friends.